Today we're going to learn how to make pumpkin or squash ravioli with a really fun pasta dough. Start by roasting 2 medium-sized honey nut or butternut squash in the oven at about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Let them cool and then peel them and remove all the seeds. Place all the cooked pulp into a blender and blend it on high until it is very smooth. You may need to add water a little bit just to loosen it so that it can blend into a puree, but don't add too much water. Begin by placing 3 cups of flour into a mixing bowl of a KitchenAid stand mixer, followed by 14 ounces of your pumpkin or squash puree. Mix it on a low speed in a KitchenAid mixer with the dough hook for about 5 minutes. It won't look right at first and will probably look a little bit dry, but don't add water until you're absolutely sure it needs some moisture. Here it is at about 2 minutes. It still looks kind of dry. At about 3.5 to 4 minutes, we look something a little bit more like this. From here, you can turn it off and knead it with your hands to get a smooth ball, kind of like I do right here. The next step from here is going to be to wrap the pasta dough in plastic and rest it in your fridge for about an hour, but I do prefer up to 3. I also forgot to make a video of me making the charcoal pasta, but I'll link that in the description below. At this point, we're going to get the filling for the ravioli ready. You'll need more pumpkin puree, eggs, shallot and garlic, butter, chopped sage, ricotta cheese, and Parmesan. The full recipe will be described below. To start the filling, get a pot over medium heat and add to it butter, chopped shallot, and chopped garlic. Once it sweats for about 3 minutes, the garlic should begin to toast and look slightly golden, and the shallot should be translucent. At this point, add your chopped sage and fry it for about 1 minute. After frying your sage in the butter, garlic, and shallot for about 30 seconds to a minute, add your pumpkin puree and bring it up to a boil. Once it boils, turn off the heat and place it to the side to cool before adding the cheese. Once the pumpkin mixture is cool, add your ricotta cheese, eggs, freshly grated Parmesan, and salt and pepper. Remember to check for seasoning. Once it's done, put it into a piping bag or a Ziploc bag and set it off to the side until you're ready. Now it's time to make our pasta. Take both color pastas and roll them out on the thickest setting of your pasta roller. Then, square them off and cut them into strips like so. After you have them alternated, you'll want to take a little bit of semolina flour, sprinkle it over the top, and lightly use a rolling pin to press them slightly thinner so that the colors begin to stick together. As I was rolling the pasta, the ends were wanting to work their way to the outside instead of in so that they didn't stick together. So I had to pinch the noodles together or the pasta together so that they would stick and form one sheet. Square off the ends of the pasta and then get your machine ready. Start on the biggest setting and roll the pasta through 2 times on each setting. After the 2 times, reduce it by 1 setting to go just gradually thinner every time. If the pasta feels like it's sticking or getting a little bit wet, sprinkle with semolina. Now grab your filling and cut about a 1/2 inch opening at the tip of the bag. Pipe about 1 tablespoon of filling per each ravioli. It helps if you grab your ravioli cutter and match something circular that's the same size to imprint the dough so you know how to space them apart better. If you have a set of ring cutters, those are very handy here. Now you want to get some water and just lightly dampen the pasta around the edges of the filling. This way when you lay your other sheet over the top, it'll stick much better and you won't have broken ravioli when you cook them in the water. Be careful not to use too much water though, or else your pasta will become gummy and very hard to work with, possibly ruined. Make sure that your other sheet of pasta dough is long enough and wide enough to fit over the ravioli without cutting them off. Then carefully lay it over the top so that you don't have to shift it, possibly smearing the filling. Then we'll want to press all of the air, or as much as we can, out of the ravioli without squishing the squash puree. Using the ravioli cutter of your choice, make sure that it's centered over the filling and press gently down to cut the dough. If it doesn't pop out like this, that's okay. You can just pull the sheet over the cut ravioli and it should peel away just fine. Place your cut ravioli onto a tray of your choice with a good amount of semolina flour so that the ravioli don't stick to the tray. Then refrigerate covered. Our last step before we cook the ravioli is going to be to make our sauce. We'll start by picking about 2 bunches of sage leaves, discarding all the stems. Then we'll get a pot going over medium-high heat with 2 to 3 sticks of butter. I went with 3 sticks because, well, we have a lot of people here. Once the butter is foaming and a golden brown, we'll add the sage leaves and fry them in the butter for about 1 minute. The best way to tell if the sage leaves are done is if you can feel them get crispy with your spoon as you stir the pot. Once you're done cooking them, you can turn the flame off and just let them cool in the butter. This is what it should look like when it's done. It's now time to cook the pasta. Bring a pot of salted water up to a boil and drop the ravioli in and set a timer for 4 minutes. After 4 minutes, using a slotted spoon, pull out the ravioli and put them into a sauté pan with a little bit of the brown butter in it. Be sure to shake off as much water as you can so that way you don't water out your sauce and bring water onto the plate. Spoon the ravioli onto a plate any way you like and grab your brown butter and sage. You'll spoon a generous amount of the brown butter over the top as well as some of those crispy sage leaves. You don't want to forget those because they do provide a really nice texture to the dish as well as enhance the flavor. Lastly, the final touch will be to shave as much Parmesan cheese as you'd like over the top. Don't be shy with it. And that does it. that is our dish. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing my best to post one video a week or so. So if you have any suggestions, please drop those in the comments below and let me know what you think.